Welcome to the podcast series Africast. Allow us to introduce ourselves. We are Jaimee,
Marius, and Patrick.
And we are students of the Technical University of Munich with different study backgrounds. Africa is an emerging continent. In particular, Ghana is one of the fastest growing economies worldwide. We would like to raise awareness for the academic environment in Ghana. But why do we focus only on Ghana? Last year, the Technical University of Munich established a scientific collaboration with different universities in Ghana. We have the impression that there's a lot of potential for more people to learn about this. So we hope that this podcast sparks your personal interest and that you share it with your friends and family if you liked it. And now, enjoy.
So, hi Frank. Thank you
Marius.
for joining us on our podcast series Africast. It's great to have you as a guest today.
Welcome.
So, to start off, I would be interested in your study background. So, how did you actually come here?
My name is Frank Achampeong, and I grew up in Kumasi in the Ashanti region of Ghana. But I had my bachelor education at the University of Cape Coast.
So at UCC?
Yeah, UCC.
I see.
In industrial chemistry. And after my bachelor, I worked at Coca-Cola for 3 years. And then I started my first master degree at the Kwame Nkrumah University of Cape Coast.
KNUST.
Yeah, KNUST in environmental resource management. Yeah, but later I realized that to be at the cutting edge of modern technology and current trend, you need to also maybe study in Germany, Europe, or America. So I decided to apply for a school in Germany. But what actually triggered this, what really motivated this was the fact that I had an opportunity to do an internship in Germany.
Wow. At which company was it?
It was at the HSWT. The other school close to Technical University of Munich.
Okay.
Yeah, so...
And how was your internship experience like?
Yeah,
Did you enjoy it?
Yeah, I really enjoyed it because it was practical and I never had such an internship before that. So it was a very nice experience and in a foreign country.
So you liked it that much that you wanted to return to Germany?
Yes, so I discovered this... sustainable resource management, which is very similar to what I did in Ghana.
Okay.
But the difference was this one was very practical and you have the opportunity to specialize in one area. And so, for instance, I'm specializing now in renewable resources and waste management. But in Ghana, it's kind of general and very theoretical.
So here at TUM, you have a more detailed and practical approach.
Yes. So currently I'm studying sustainable resource management and in the fourth semester and I'm writing my master thesis with the Fraunhofer Institute at Sulzbach-Rosenberg.
So you're focusing on waste management, right?
Yes, waste management. My thesis is on e-waste actually.
So electronic waste?
Electronic waste, yeah.
I see. And do you study electronic waste management in general or with regards to Ghana or...
I think electronic waste is a global problem. Yeah, and the Fraunhofer Institute, they've developed or discovered this technology and they want to take it to Africa because that's where there is a lot of e-waste.
Yeah.
So they want to take it there and I don't know, but for some reasons I happened to find an internship with Fraunhofer Institute and they told me, okay, if I'm interested, I can also write my master thesis on this e-waste. And I can also be on that project to bring the technology to Ghana. So I said it's interesting and I really wanted to be an expert in future in this waste management field. So I decided to join them.
Yeah, that's excellent. So to get the listeners a good idea about the current situation, what's it like currently in Ghana? How is electronic waste managed? How is it recycled? And what's the situation like?
So I will start from the origination of the e-waste problem in Ghana. So this problem started when the government decided that he wants to transform Ghana into information-rich, knowledge-based, and technology-driven income economy. And per this idea, the government initiated a policy called the ICT for Accelerated Development Policy. And per this policy, the tax on importation of electronic equipment, especially computers, IT, and telecommunication equipment, the tax on them were scrapped. So they were removed. So a lot of people were importing electronic equipment, especially used electronic equipment, to Ghana.
So basically, the government set up a plan or a strategy which made import of electronic devices much cheaper.
Yes, and because they were exporting most used electronic equipment, it's very cheap actually in Ghana to buy the used ones than to go for the original ones. So people were importing a lot of electronic equipment. But the problem with the importation is 70% of the total import, they are in a good working condition. 20% has to go through the refurbishes or repairs before they can be used. And 10% is totally non-functional. That means you cannot use them. So they go straight to the scrapyard or they are dumped at the landfill site. That's the problem with the importation, because they were not regulating the import at the port. Yeah.
So that's basically the origin of the whole problem.
As a result of this policy, there was an increase in importation of used computers from 1.3 million kilograms in 2004 to 10.3 million in 2011.
Wow.
Yes.
So basically by a factor of 8 or 10.
Yeah.
So and incredible.
Also the government, in between 2010 and 2011, the government decided to distribute laptops across Ghana for high school students. And he distributed 60,000 laptops to high school students in Ghana. And I think around 1999 there, that's when mobile phone subscription became common in Ghana. So in 2000, there were about 90,000 mobile phone subscriptions, but it rose to 15 million in 2009.
Wow. So all in all, we have a vast increase in electronic usage and devices.
Basically, most of these imports were used equipment, so they had shorter lifespan, and the e-waste was increasing gradually.
Yeah.
So I think that was the origination of the problem. And
so if what's happening with the devices, if they are used for a couple of years or 10 years, then most people want to get rid of them because they cannot use them anymore.
Yes.
So what is happening then?
Yeah. So in Ghana, for instance, in Germany, people buy brand new electronic equipment. But in Ghana, we buy the used equipment, so they have like shorter lifespan. So if, for instance, the phone is supposed to have 10 years lifespan, because it is used, maybe you can use it for maximum 5 years in Ghana. And it has to go to the e-waste recyclers, or you have to dump it somewhere. But in Ghana, the e-waste management is dominated with the informal sector. And what the informal sector do is they go from house to house to buy the e-waste. Others also go from landfills or dump sites to collect these e-waste that have been deposited with other solid waste, the municipal waste. So they are able to collect they actually achieve 95% collection rate.
Wow, that's
which
a lot.
Is yes, even in the whole world. Europe is they are able to achieve a collection rate of around 44%. That is Sweden also. In Germany, it's around 40%. US also. But in Ghana, the informal sector is able to collect around 95% of e-waste from household, from landfills, from dump sites.
Yeah.
So it's a very good effort. But the problem is the recycling. They recycle in a crude way. For instance, they burn cables to harvest. They burn cables to harvest iron, and when you burn a cable openly, it releases gases, for instance, dioxins and furans, which are dangerous to human health and the environment. They also recycle fridge. And fridge, when you don't recycle it in a special way, you have to, in the special way, I mean, you have to degas it. But these people, they don't have the degassing machine. So what they do is they use hammers and other stuff to do the recycling. And as a result, they release the CFC, which is it's called chlorofluorocarbons, to the atmosphere, which pollutes the ozone.
Okay, so basically the informal sector occupies a lot of people, so it also does a lot of good for the economy of Ghana, right? And they collect a lot of the waste, but the problem more or less lies in the recycling process, right?
Yes, that's the problem, because the formal sector cannot really compete with the informal sector because they don't have the capacity to go from house to house to buy the e-waste, which the informal sector is doing. And where they even get their e-waste from private companies who undertake corporate social responsibility. So in 2009, they were able to just recycle 30 tons of e-waste.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, the whole of e-waste generated in 2009. The 30 tons went for the formal sector. But the informal sector was able to recycle around 170 tons. And this is another problem. Out of the 170 tons, they were able to recover only 72,000 tons pure fraction. And then about 99,000 tons were sent to the landfill site, which they later burned to reduce the volume. And after burning, when it rains, the rain washes the ash to running waters, and they can pollute the soil, the water with heavy metals.
So does it affect ultimately your health?
Yes, it's a pollution
quality
to the environment.
of water.
Yes.
Wow. So the e-waste problem is a very multi-dimensional problem.
Yeah.
So I think the government of Ghana has realized the problem, right? So it's no secret. What did they do, or how do they want to solve the problem? Are there any approaches yet?
Yeah, I think the government is now aware of the situation, and they are conducting a lot of research and actually creating the atmosphere for investors to invest in the e-waste sector. And recently, in 2016, they passed the Hazardous and Electronic Waste Management and Control Bill. And in this bill, it says importers are supposed to take back the electronic equipment when they reach their end of life. So when consumers use the electronic equipment and they feel like, okay, it's time to discard them, they need to take it back to the importers or the distributors. And these distributors, per the management bill, they are also required to recycle them in an environmentally friendly manner. So that is in the bill, which is very good. And also the bill requires that all these importers or manufacturers, though we don't have manufacturers in Ghana, if we have, there are just few of them. But I think most of the items, everything is imported from Europe or America.
Yeah. So if you say that a lot of devices are important, waste management becomes a very international problem.
Yes.
So is the government of Ghana cooperating with other countries or other governments to solve their recycling problem?
Yeah, I think there is this company from Germany, GIZ. GIZ, I don't know, maybe you know the full meaning of GIZ.
The German Society for International Cooperation,
yes,
is it?
Yeah, sure. They are already into waste management and sustainability projects in Ghana. And
so do they finance them, or do they give advice, or what's their
recently
role?
There was this initiative by between the Ministry of Environment, Science, Technology and Innovation in Ghana and the Ministry of Economic Cooperation and Development in Germany. And they are financing a project where they want to buy e-waste from the informal sector. So what they want to do is they don't just want to drive the informal sector away, because about 20,000 people are involved in this business, and about 100,000 to 200,000 people are dependent on these 20,000 people for daily bread. So they cannot just drive them away. But what they want to do is they want to integrate them in the system, where they will go from house to house, as they are doing already, to collect e-waste and then bring it to a particular place. They call it the handover center.
Handover centers, okay.
Yes. So what they will do is, when they collect enough at the handover center, they will tender it to the former recyclers to recycle them in a friendly, environmentally friendly manner. Yeah. So I think the German government, Ministry of Economic Cooperation and Development, they are sponsoring this project. And GIZ is involved in this project. They are conducting the research, the feasibility study, and all the other stuff to make this project work.
It's very interesting that Germany is actually involved in that process. So they basically don't want to erase the process or cancel it away. They just want to change the process to establish a better recycling process, right?
Yeah, okay. because of the hazardous nature of the e-waste, because some of the waste contains mercury, arsenic, lead, which is very harmful to humans when you inhale it or come in contact with it. So they want to find a way to make it in a sound manner.
And what do you personally think of that idea? Do you support it?
Yeah, I think it's a very good idea, because one, it's going to create employment for the informal sector and the formal sector as well. And it's going to officially put money in the Ghana economy. And also, we are also going to we will be able to recover the precious metals from e-waste, because as much as e-waste contains the hazardous substances or components like mercury and other things, it also contains precious metals like gold, silver, iron, aluminium, palladium, and some other scarce metals which are very expensive. So it's a very good idea if they continue with this project, and the impact on the informal sector will also reduce.
Okay, perfect. Yeah. So let's see how it's going to evolve, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So thank you very much, Frank, for your information you shared with us today.
You are welcome.